Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you another video. Alright, so I'm getting out today because I got to buy some broccoli. Literally broccoli is why I'm leaving the house. Certain things I'm just not going to do my meal without, and broccoli is one of them. I could probably afford to get some more rice and potatoes as well. Yeah, man, I'm tired, man. I'm really tired. My body is exhausted from waking up early on Sunday and then waking up early yesterday morning and going to sleep late last night. I didn't eat last night till about, I think I looked at the clock when I was eating, it was like 11:30, 11 something like that. Still had exercise and doing all types of stuff. I don't think I got to sleep till like 2 a.m. I had to wake up this morning, not too early, but I had to call the people over at the apartment that we went to yesterday, of course, to try to see if we could appeal to them and try to get me in there, even though I have a what you call a eviction. And not only do I have an eviction, but I also have an outstanding balance on that eviction. So we spoke to her, and she essentially said that if he, you know, if the person who's paying for everything could do 5 times the rent, if they can, if they can account for being good for 5 times the rent, they likely will still rent it out to us. But we didn't mention the balance. So that, my thing honestly is I really don't want to live at the unit there. I really don't want to live there, I'm being honest. It does, like I said last night, you guys can check out the video I made on the way home. It checks off some boxes, but there's some things in that situation that just aren't quite up to the standard. It doesn't have a big fridge. It doesn't have a stove, and the unit is abnormally small. And I grew up in a single. I've been in single rooms here for the last 2 years. I'm used to not having an extra room. That's not the problem. And I'm used to that room not being overly big. You give me a 400 square room single by myself, I'm fine with that. But that thing is like 270, 260. It's very small in there, man. I don't want that room. I don't want it. I'm just being honest, I don't want it. I know my uncle wants it for me because there are a lot of things about the building that we like. But for basically $1,300 a month, I think I can find better quarters. I think I can find more what I need, what I would need. And so I'm very hopeful that they don't approve me. I am. I don't want to move there, man. I'm just being honest. I don't want to move there. I do want my own place at some point, and like I said, I'm past being resistant to that. If something great were to pop up today, I'd be happy to take it. But if I'm being honest with y'all, I don't want to be in no small ass room, y'all. Not that small. Not that small. Bathroom that small. Nah. That's not for me, bro. When you put some furniture in that thing, you're gonna be able to. You could take like 2 steps, you're already on the other side of the room. It's just not. That's not comfortable quarters for your boy, and I know that. And I've been praying about it because I know my uncle really likes the building. I know he thinks it's a good building for me, man. But it's small, man. It's just a very small space, so that's why I don't want to do it. I'm cool on that place, man. I am cool. So my hope is that they say, you know what, we just can't do it, and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so unhappy. That's exactly how I'm about to act, because I don't mind living there. The building looks good, but in order to be comfortable, you got to spend like $1,700 in that building or more to get you one of them rooms that actually look like a room, because that's like half a room, you know. And the bathroom size is like, you know, it's not comfortable at all. So that's really what it is, man. I got a good feeling that the Lord is just gonna find a way around that. Even if they approve us, I still think I'll probably have a conversation with my uncle and say, you know what, I just know we can do better, man. I don't want that place. I don't want that place. So that's really what it is. I woke up this morning willing to follow through on whatever the Lord wants to do, but very strong on my opinion that I'm just kind of cool on that place, to be honest with you. So that's what's going on. The lady has yet to call us back with the confirmation. Speaking to her manager, she felt confident that they would lend to us, but like I said, that outstanding balance, she don't know how much it is. and it's outstanding. It ain't been paid off, and it's been two years on that. So, you know, it is what it is. But I don't think that, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think they put that eviction on my record. I think that was one of the things that the judge did for me, was make sure that that thing ain't on my record. I think that's what it was, and I don't remember, because all of that was a blur for me. I was going through so much at the time that was just one of many different things that I had on my mind at the time. But if I'm not mistaken, and you guys can let me know, because the video is still on my channel, all of those videos are still here. But didn't I say that the judge told me that it didn't have to be on my record? That was like the grace that the judge provided me. Like, that's not going to be on your record. Now, the outstanding balance, you can check the credit and see that I owe. But as far as there being, if you like check my credit or check my my history, you probably won't see it there, based on what the judge promised me, or so I thought. So I don't, like I said, man, that's very important information. But I was so stressed and so scared at the time mentally, I don't hardly remember a lot of what that particular part of my situation was. I just remembered how I felt, what I needed to do, and how uncertain everything was at the time. That's really all that's about as much of it as I could say. I was doing what I needed to do in the moment, and a lot of the most important information went in one ear and out of the other, because of how distraught and concerned and scared and all these different energies that I was really engulfed with at the time. And so, yeah, I think that's how that went, though. I think they said they weren't going to put that on my record. But I already told them, I let them know this morning that it's on there. It's too late to say, hey, you know what, if you check it, it ain't going to be there. It doesn't matter. I was forthcoming with the information. So it is what it is, man. But I honestly, at this point, wonder if it's actually on there. So anyway, yeah, somebody broke this window here for this liquor store. Anyway, so yeah, man, I'm going to just do a little Hollywood run, probably go just grab the few things that I need, make the normal routine walk, and call it a day. I'm really pushing my body. I didn't actually feel like being in the house, but I really could use a day where I don't do nothing but sleep. After getting up early these last couple of days, going to sleep late, as I already said, my body is pretty exhausted. Wasn't eating all that well too, which is another reason why I want to go on this walk. You know, so I think that once she gives me this call back, if she denies me, I think life kind of settles back into what it is that I like it to be. Just doing my routine out here, kind of not thinking too much about moving or anything like that, because I'm not going to approve of the other places that we already agreed to not approve of. And I'm not particularly on the search for an apartment. That was something that I wanted to do with my uncle, since he was in town. His urgency about me moving is different than mine. I'm not overly excited about that, but I am praying about all these different things to make sure that I'm not moving on from something that God wants me to stay at, or coming into anything that God don't want me in, or whatever the case may be. I just want to be what and where God wants me to be. So, but I do have some strong opinions, and I prayed about those too. Opinions about what I do want, what I don't want. And although I don't know what comes with what, I still think there's some validity to establishing and harboring opinions about what you want and what you don't want. And so, trying to just give all that to God, and I feel good about how everything went with my uncle. He's going to be flying back out probably within the hour. I think his flight leaves at like noon, so he should probably be at the airport as we speak if everything's going smoothly. And I thought they would call me back soon enough for him to be able to be looped into the call, but she has yet to call me. So I guess I'll give him the information when I get it, or when he gets back home. But like I said, man, good news for me right now sounds like, nope, we will not lend to you. Sorry, we're gonna stay strict on this policy. We're so sorry you couldn't take the room. And I'm gonna be like, yep, amen, because I don't want it. I don't want it. I want my own place, but I don't want to be uncomfortable for 12 months on a lease in a tiny ass place, and I'm really not gonna enjoy living in. And all things remain equal, that is not enough space for me. It's just not. But there's a lot of things that's right about it, so I would have dealt with it. But after I slept on it last night, I felt the way I felt when I walked out of that room. No matter how good it had different things that I really wanted, at the end of the day, it's a room that ain't got a lot of space. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of that conversation. But in the meantime, I got, you know, a lot done. You know, I was proud of myself for still doing my routine last night after getting home so late and eating so late and all of that. Still managing to do all of the things that I do. Still have yet to put any art together for the playlist that I made back on, God, what day was that? Probably made that playlist on Saturday or something. I don't even remember. I have yet to listen to it. Ain't had a chance to breathe, really, with all the stuff that I had to do with my uncle. So today would have been a great day to do that, but of course I ran out of stuff, so I got to go out anyway. So I'll get around to it when I get around to it. Who knows how that playlist is? I barely even remember what I put on it at this point. But it's a long one too. It's about an hour and 50, almost 2 hours worth of music on that playlist. One of the longer ones I've done. So we're gonna wait it out, man, and then get to doing it when I get a chance. And you know, just head back over to Hollywood, man, and walk around there and just enjoy a regular day for myself. You know, it has not been very regular. I haven't been unhappy, but I've been quite a bit out of my element. And if y'all know me, y'all know that's not something that I want to last too long most of the time. I want to do what I want to do, the way that I like to do it on my time. And it was wonderful hanging out with my uncle. That went way better than I anticipated. But I did also appreciate things going back to kind of what I considered normal. Even though I'm still on the hook waiting for this phone call, I'm pretty certain I'm just gonna tell her I'm cool. Like at this point in time, I'm pretty certain I'm just gonna say no and tell my uncle that it ain't for me, man. At the end of the day, I do have to live good. And so with that being said, you know, I appreciate all he's doing for me. And if, like I said, if something else pops up or if something good pops up and I feel it for myself, I'll take it. But you know, right now I'm just in a space where I'm kind of stuck on my opinion about that. And so yeah, man, I appreciate all the support I've been getting, man, keeping my routine going. Y'all know how much effort I put into this last couple of days and prayer I put into these last couple of days. And you know, I can say that favor was shown to me. Favor was shown to me for all the different things that I was praying for. It came together the way that I was asking that it would. And that's just one more thing that I can notch under my belt to say that I trust God, because when I do, he has come through. You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of people tell you. You know, it's a lot of testimony of believers. But you know, mine, I think you guys can kind of see it in my life, because I talk to you about the concerns that I have, and then you see the aftermath, and you hear about what I hoped would happen, and you see it go down that way, and you know I'm applying faith to it. I think that's one of the purposes of my channel, is to kind of show you guys how the course of favor has been in my life. You know, I'm not rich, and miracles are happening every day. I'm not winning the lottery or nothing like that. But little things that I apply my faith to help me throughout my walk, God tends to make them a lot better than what I'm worried about. And the things that are really bad in my life, he tends to give me the strength to handle when it's time for that. And so I'm a person of faith, not just out of training from my mom and family and, you know, guilt trips that have been placed upon my spirit to tell me you better be in church and all that. None of that is really what makes me faithful. It's these opportunities to have uncertainty, applying the belief, applying the prayer, and then watching it straighten out from there. And when you see that happen enough times, you get to a point where you like, all right, I get it. This is what I need to do. When things are tough, this is what I need to do. When it's looking crazy in my life, this is what I can turn to, who I can turn to get the trust going and feel good about my situation. And then from there, align with a peace that whether things are good or bad will carry me through whatever it is. And you know, it's a real blessing to be alive in general, but also to be able to have testimony to say that I applied the uncertainty of my life to the God that I believe in, and it keeps working out one way or another to my satisfaction. And when I do things the wrong way, just the same, things fall apart. That's for certain. I was praying in the shower this morning, and I said something that I kind of worded something in a way that finally sends it into a space where this thought makes sense. And essentially what I was saying was, God deserves better from me at this point than to treat him as if he's only as good as the next thing he's willing to do, or the next thing he's willing to prove. And you get to a point where he keeps coming through so much when you call on him, to where when the next time something becomes uncertain, you'd like to think that you have a bit more faith that he's going to lean things into your favor, when every time you had that doubt but apply him anyway, it falls into your favor. You know, it's getting to a point where these testimonies are piling up so much in my life that I find myself disappointed that I still doubt. I still find myself trying to prepare for what doesn't fall in my favor against what it is that ultimately I've prayed, thinking he may not come through this time, or that I've been looking at it wrong the whole time, or whatever the case may be. You know, I'd like to think that as he continues to do this, he's built up enough equity in my life for me to give him the benefit of the doubt a lot more than I'm willing to do. And I say these last couple of days with how things went with my uncle was yet another example of him coming through upon my request. It's getting to a point where it's like, shame on me for still being of little faith in certain situations. Still trying to brace myself for stuff that's going to potentially be bad, when I keep applying the same level of faith and he keeps on making it better than bad. You know, it's always better than bad. But I'm always preparing for worse, but still applying that faith as if I believe, but only up to a point or whatever. He's better than just to be given that perspective, to say he's only as good as the last thing he's proven or the next thing he's willing to prove. Rather, God has proven enough. Now I can just kind of trust. Yeah, I look at this mural of Kobe Bryant, and I'll show you guys. If you can see that mural through this blurry lens, what it shows is Kobe Bryant leaning back with the basketball in his hands. But based on what it is that I'm talking about, it also represents falling backwards. When one spreads arms out and falls backwards into the arms of God, trusting that he's going to catch you. And that's kind of what I want to be able to do in circumstances ahead. Because so many times, I wouldn't want to do that at all, even though he always catches me when I do. Try to lean on him it's still an impact brace without pure and utter trust that I find myself engaging in. And you catch you 100 times in a row, don't you think it's time for you to start trusting that he's gonna catch you in the 101st time? And you can lean back, you can spread your arms, lean back, and he's gonna catch you. And it's like you have never seen him catch you before. Sometimes when you're in my head, it's like he's never proven that he'd catch you one time. You don't have absolutely any faith that he's gonna catch you. And at some point in time, after him catching you 100 times, you gotta say, man, you know what? I don't have to brace for my fall. I don't have to keep trying to psych myself into thinking that maybe I need to prepare for what happens if he doesn't catch me. And I just need to trust him as applied, because his track record is perfect. And I tell you, even waking up this morning, knowing that I don't want certain things, and maybe it happens, and maybe it could be considered favoring someone else's prayers, but in mine, I actually don't want this apartment, so to speak. Still find myself wondering, like, yo, if they give me this apartment, how do I embrace going in there? Can it be good if I do? That's also part of trust as well. It's like, I don't want this, but then you end up finding out that it's a propeller in your life. It's a stepping stone in your life towards your best self. It's like, I don't want to be in a space where I'm ignoring the doors that are going to open for me, that are supposed to take me down the best path for my life. Trying to stay in spaces that are comfortable for me, that don't have any doors of opportunity attached to them. Or to say, Lord, I don't want this for myself, but maybe you're going to do it anyway. You know, that faith that he's going to catch you in many different ways. At this point, he's earned that trust in my life. He's earned the fact that if he wants me to do something, he'll give me a confirmation that it's yes or no, that his yeses are his yeses, his no's are his no's, and that he will be willing to communicate with me if I reach out. I can't say that that's what I expect is in everyone's life, or that your relationship is the same, but I feel like at this point throughout my journey, I've gotten confirmations a million times over on things that I still doubt. I've seen him catch me a million times, and yet he's only as good as the next time he proves he's going to catch me. And I still have a requisite amount of doubt, as if he's not coming through. It just gets to a point where I look in the mirror and I say, you owe him better than that. You owe him better than that. He's proven better than that. You know? And that you can trust him in the areas of doubt, and you can communicate with him and listen to him and follow what it is that he say, and then fall back on it and just know that he's gonna catch you each time. So that's why I'm trying to help myself believe a bit more. He's already proven that. I don't have to worry about that. He gave me confirmations a million times with this same voice that ended up proving in real life to be a predetermined, if that's a word, of what was to come. He said it was going to be fine. It was fine. Did it look like it was going to be fine? Absolutely not. But he said it was going to work out. It worked out. So next time he tells me things are going to work out when it don't look like it's going to be very fine, the temperament I hope to develop at this point is to trust that it's going to be fine. This is for me. He told me this is for me. This is what that represents. He told me what it represents. Do I have to question that? No. Because why else did he prove all the other times that his yeses were his yeses and his no's were his no's? If not for his no's to be yeses this time. And so that's really what it is. I, like every other human being, have been raised in a world that is evil. In a world full of deceit. In a world full of, contingencies and wishy-washiness and whatever else is out here that ain't of God. But that doesn't mean that God is of the world and its limitations and its fears. God is a God that don't find himself limited by the need to front or lie or patronize or lead people in different directions that are not of truth. He don't have to do that. And so if I know that God is greater than that of the world, then I need not apply the limitations of trusting the world to God. And while these words sound really, really, really cute in this phone, it's the temperament that I still struggle with. And I know I'm not there yet. That's where I want to be. That ain't where I'm at. And I want people to understand that that's just the case, and it's not because of any other reason. Then I just need to continue to work on that strength and that relationship with God. I need to continue to work on it. There are levels of faith that need to be reached. And just because you know the truth doesn't mean that you're strong enough to apply it as of yet. And that truth requires a certain temperament, a certain belief, a certain strength that I'm still awaiting being developed in myself. And so that's what I wanted to say to all of you guys. If you struggle with your faith to whatever degree, even people like me who the Lord continues to prove things to every day, may still struggle with the temperament to trust him for the next circumstance of uncertainty. And there are a lot of people who say they're men of the cloth, who say their faith is the strongest, who say they believe in God, but they may struggle with this too, or don't believe in him at all. You know what I mean? And just telling that to you. You know, that kind of thing. That's why I don't put a whole lot of faith in religion and clergy people and church. I don't put a lot of faith in that. Because that's of the world in a lot of cases. In most cases, if not all of them. That's of the world. Those are just people who are raised in the same evil place of doubt that the rest of us are. The opportunistic points of views, selective humanity, politic point of views, and all different types of stuff like that. At the end of the day, people are just people, man. God is not limited to that. God knows what's coming. God knows what's behind us. He's the master of all. And his wisdom is above all, so he's going to always make good decisions. That's why it's okay to trust him. To have the temperament to follow that wisdom requires strength. And I hope we all receive it. And you know, that's my thought on that, man. So that's what I was meditating on this morning. The evidence is piling up that he's trustworthy, man. Now I'm looking to apply it in the most difficult circumstances that may be ahead, or whatever uncertainty or discomforts or whatever may be ahead. We apply what has already been proven. What's proven don't have to be reproven. You know, that's really what it comes down to. And so, yeah, man, thank God for being willing to prove that he's in my corner and that he's in other people's corner, so that I could apply this to other people and see it work. And that's one of the things that I think is also part of the strength, is to say, I have favor in my life, but I can tell you that you can trust him too, and he'll come through for you too. You know what I mean? That I'm not some type of singled out special or whatever person. That the faith that I am applying or looking to apply in my life too can be applied to random human being, whoever may be listening to me on the other end of this camera. Whatever your walk of life is, you start establishing that relationship. He can convince you through countless amounts of testimonies in your own life, through countless amounts of circumstances where you apply your faith and your obedience to him, and then he comes through and wipes away what concerns you, or makes you strong enough to deal with it. You can start having those testimonies as well pile up to where it makes no sense for you not to trust him too. You know what I mean? It ain't enough, and I tell God this with my own experience to hark back on when I say this. It ain't enough to just hear people talk about God. That's the door opener. But the trust comes from him then, after being applied to circumstances, being willing to display that to you. And so I do ask that he do that when you apply him, I do ask that he come through for you, so that when I speak this way, I'm not a liar. Because an atheist gonna tell you it makes no sense to apply God and apply faith to circumstances. They're gonna tell you to believe in yourself and self-manifest, and figure out ways to create opportunities, and whatever your opportunities are will create your fate and all different stuff like that. But the truth that I've learned through application of experiment in faith and applied faith to my circumstances is that this is not a self-manifestation of any kind. Now, I'm not willing anything. That what I do with my mind is ultimately kind of course myself away from blessings and opportunities to trust and stuff like that. That it had to apply something greater than myself, some faith, in order for that trust that I'm talking about to really be proven in my life. I ain't get that from just listening to somebody tell me about it. I had to give it a shot multiple times for that evidence to pile up. And so that's what I'm giving to you guys. Give it a shot. Give him a try. Be patient. Things don't always drop from the sky, you know what I mean? You gotta wait some time. Trust that he will give you the temperament to wait, because that's also a prayer worth praying. Not only that he do certain things, but he provide you the comfort and the temperament and the patience for which to align with the timing that he has for you. And then let him work. And you'll look up whenever it's time, and you'll have what it is you prayed for, or you'll be strong enough to live without it and don't want it as much no more, or whatever the right thing would be. So that's what I've come to understand, man. But it requires some sacrifice from a lot of us, is to step away from the enemy. And as that evidence piles up of trusting him, you'll learn that applying faith and trust in the enemy is going to get you burnt every time. And that the more you deal with the enemy, the more blind you'll be to the realities of him not being trustworthy. The more you do dances with him, the more he's able to cloud your mind and make you crave what it is that he provides. That's why so many people are in darkness and won't stray away from it for nothing, because they're stuck in the cloud of darkness. They can't see. But their way to sight is through the applied faith of a living God. And if they try God, an opportunity, give him an opportunity, they will learn through every incident that he comes through why they need to trust him and turn away from things that ultimately are disobedient in nature. Turn away from energies that ultimately seem right but aren't aligned with him and his timing, and to crave his timing and his confirmation and his communication in their lives, to apply a discipline to themselves, to turn to him before making decisions, and before making brash decisions, specifically when unhappiness or depression is in place, or boredom is in place, or whatever would otherwise prompt them to disgrace and sin. And so that's what I'm here to say to all of you guys, man. It's not easy, but it gets easier. Just like stretching, just like anything else that you got to apply practice to. So the more you do it, the more normal it becomes. And so that's what I want to say about faith, man. I'm in a space where the journey has begun. I ain't at the finish line, though. I think the finish line looks like you falling back without any concerns or any questions that he's going to catch you. That's what it looks like at the finish line. I'm not there yet, but I have a good idea where I want to be, and that's exactly what I've articulated in this video. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. Bdf 44, I thank y'all for watching.